Well, hello again. This is part 2 of the Wednesday night teacher training video for the fall 2010 teachers that are going to be teaching to our bridge group leaders and our bridge group facilitators and our bridge group participants. We ended the first video talking about the look and the took and how we can take topics and transition them into facilitation questions. And we were talking about the look and how the look encourages students to look at the truths of the biblical passage from a broad, general, applicable or application perspective to their lives and the lives of the people around them. And then we transitioned to the took, and we talked about how the took specifically encourages students to take the truths of the passage and apply these truths to their lives in a very specific way. Let me talk a little bit more about how you can create facilitation questions based upon topics, or based upon the topic that you're teaching that night. The first thing I encourage you to know as you prepare to create facilitation questions is to create questions that are going to be open-ended. If you do ask a yes or no question, which is a close-ended question because the opportunity for conversation closes very quickly when you ask a yes or no question, always ask a follow-up question with a tell me more, or if you feel this way, tell me why you feel this way, or have you ever been to Boston? Yes. Did you enjoy it? Yes. Well, tell me why you enjoyed it. So if you use a closed-ended question, tag on an open-ended question behind that. That way, discussion is going to be much more likely to take place. So, as you prepare to create facilitation questions, make sure you are asking open-ended questions. What about the nuts and bolts of taking topics and transitioning them into questions? Well, I encourage you to go back and look at the 3 goals you created. Go back and look at the know goal that you created. What is it that you want your students to know as a result of the lesson? Go back and look at your feel goal. What is it you want your students to feel as a result of the lesson? And go back and look at your do goal. What is it you want your students to do as a result of the lesson? Look at those 3 goals. And I encourage you to transition those 3 goals into 3 facilitation questions. Now, the good news is you're only being asked to create 3 to 4 facilitation questions per night, which means that if you can transition your 3 goals into 3 questions, you're through, or either all you have to do is create one more. So what does that look like in regards to transitioning goals into facilitation questions? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a no goal of you want your students to know that the full armor of God really has Christ as its foundation. Well, if you want your students to know that the full armor of God has Christ as its foundation, you want them to cognitively know that, you can transition that into an open-ended question by asking the following. In what ways does it encourage you to fight spiritual battles knowing that Christ is at the foundation of each battle? Let me say that one more time. In what ways does it encourage you to know that Christ is the foundation of the full armor of God as you fight spiritual battles? It's a way that you took the no goal that you want your students to know that Christ is at the foundation of the full armor of God, and you transition that into a facilitation question. Well, what about the feel goal? Well, I talked earlier in the first video about how maybe a goal for yours is for students to feel the importance of Bible study daily. Well, maybe a facilitation question that you can create as a result of that feel goal is as follows. Do you find it easy or hard to study the Bible on a daily basis? If you find it easy, why? If you find it hard, why? What tips or tricks would you recommend to other people if they find it easy or hard to study the Bible on a daily basis? See how you took your feel goal and you transitioned it into a facilitation question? And then finally, what about your do goal? Well, let's say that you want your students to actually study the Bible on a daily basis. The facilitation question from the do goal could look something like this. What steps are you going to take in order to study the Bible on a daily basis this upcoming week? Pretty simple. You took your no goal, you took your feel goal, and you took your do goal, and you transition them into open-ended facilitation questions that you are then going to be able to hand over to the bridge group facilitators, and then they can use these questions in their groups. So transition your no goal, your field goal, and your do goal into open-ended facilitation questions. I am praying for you guys. I wish you guys the very best as you prepare to teach. Have great confidence in you. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to contact Baron or Matt. May God be with you as you prepare to teach on Wednesday night using your 3 goals and using the hook, book, look, and took and transitioning those into facilitation questions. God bless you.